So I feel like this is what we gotta really call the strangest times of strange times. The world was already getting pretty strange, but now more than ever, we just hardly recognize it. And it is scary because certainly the world's been through some things over the years, but it's never been so global, even with World War I, World War II. But this is us as a human race versus something else. And, we've all heard the stories. One's about toilet paper, some about doomsday shopping, and bad ones at that, where people are hoarding things just to sell them. But I gotta wonder, what about the good ones? What about the good stories that are out there that we're just not hearing enough of? I gotta wonder, just what it's like to be someone in the healthcare industry right now. The doctors and the nurses and everyone around that environment are really our soldiers in this war. And even those in government who are trying to keep this under control, this is so far from a simple solution. Everyone at home might think they know what it is, but we don't. No one does. So we're guessing and we're trying. And our part is the social distancing. And you even got to consider what it would be like to be just someone that it affects their job. Handling customer service, for example. I give a lot of credit to those people right now. Their job, I don't think, has ever been tougher. I want a full refund on my flight. Well, you cannot have one. Well, that's not fair. Nothing about this is fair for anyone. Really think about that. There are only a handful of professions out there that aren't drastically affected by this. Because even if you aren't affected, maybe one of your family members is, or you just can't go see them. This affects everyone in so many ways, so it's not fair. And it's tough, but you got to really wonder, well, then what's your story? Because you're somewhere on that spectrum. I know where I am. I don't have the work that I want to put myself into. I'm used to training people in person, and I can't do that. So I have to ask myself, how can I come out of this better, stronger? And, it's so hard to know how to predict this. And I just try to do more things I normally don't do. Try to enjoy more sunsets. I try to go for walks. I run because it gets me out of my apartment. And running's a really good analogy for this because I hate running. Don't get me wrong, I'm running, but I don't like long distance running. But right now it's my challenge, and let's say I go to set out to do 12 miles. Ridiculous, I don't like it. But I don't put that in my mind. Okay, here we go, mile, I'm gonna go 12 miles. I'm not saying 12, 12, 12. I'm saying mile 1. Once that's done, okay, mile 2. Once that's done, and it is significantly more in your control, and you're way more present, and I perform way better on every run. And let's just ask ourselves, what is our next step? Right? That's within your control. We have no control as far as how far this is going to go, but we know last 2 weeks what it was like. Okay, well, we got at least another week or two. What's next week going to look like for me? What's Monday going to look like for me? How can I grow within a day? That's in my control. That's all I can do. What's in my control? And after it's all said and done, I want to have something that built me to be a better person. You're going to look back at this because this is so dramatic. And a year, 5 years, 10 years from now, you're going to be talking about, yeah, I remember COVID. And you're going to have a story and how it affected you. It's like a scar. I always believe scars are the best analogy for a story because they often are. How'd you get that scar? Sometimes it's a great story. Sometimes someone just fell. But this one is going to be a real scar for our life. And I'm luckily not going to be such a damaging scar, but this is going to damage me. But how am I going to come out on the other side stronger? Because that's what a scar is really representing. Your skin has to break. Your flesh tears. You bleed. You have to bleed. But then in the process of bleeding is when your skin starts to repair itself and it tries to grow back thicker. So that's where we're at right now. How can I grow back thicker? And then at the end of this, when it's all said and done, I really want to know that I came back on the other side a stronger person, thicker skin. You know, it's just the way I always feel about really dramatic events in your life. How did it make you stronger? And I know if I take that approach 5 years, 10 years from now, I'll be proud of the scars and stories of COVID-19.